All right, everyone. Trump has been going after parts of the legacy media, like CNN and New York Times lately, and I support him on like 90% of it because yeah, they're dishonest, they're corrupt, they're fucked up. So I really don't have a problem with it. It's certainly not a breach of the First Amendment in any way, shape, or form for Trump to merely criticize one of these groups. Now he's taken it, he's upped the ante a little. And now he's saying, well, some of these groups are so dishonest, they're lying so much, maybe we have to take a look at the FCC licensing some of these groups, really, in order to operate on cable. Now, doing that with a political motive in mind would be blatantly wrong. I guess his idea would be, well, they're strictly lying. They're billing themselves as news, which is a more objective label than, hey, we analyze what's going on. We give our opinion, we're explicitly biased. Like 99% of the stuff you find online, whether it's a blog, vlogging like here on YouTube, Twitter, whatever, it's explicitly biased. A lot of people wear it on their sleeve too. They'll proudly say, "Oh, I'm a liberal columnist. I'm a conservative policy wonk. I'm a libertarian blogger." They're actually happy to tell you that they have a slant to it. Some of these pundits on these networks don't, and the networks themselves, of course, desperately want you to think that they're totally unbiased, that it's actually news. I would be very uncomfortable with Trump actually attempting to rescind somebody's license merely because they were being inaccurate on cable, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a better thing to do. And last night when Shapiro was weighing in, he appeared to have a problem with this. Oh, well, it would violate the First Amendment. Okay, so does the very existence of FCC licensing. Here, go to the root of the problem. Don't focus on symptom, which is dishonest media still technically has the right to be totally fucking dishonest. Don't even worry about that. Don't worry about what Trump's doing. Get rid of the FCC altogether. I'm serious. I mean, get rid of it. Don't even have an FCC. We fought this battle before. The FCC was a thorn in the side of terrestrial radio, like 80s and 90s. Leads directly to sort of the formation of Sirius and things like that. Leads directly to on-demand, and now a lot of content online because they went after and fucked up cable TV as well. The FCC is a pile of steaming shit. The FCC is the reason, through Tipper Gore and all the other DC housewives, that you have to be 18 to buy this record. We can't have certain types of content on until a certain time of day, then only on certain channels, and this stuff has to be on demand or pay-per-view, and you can't say this on the radio, and it's got to be bland and cloying. And the worst thing is, it even goes beyond them. It goes beyond the FCC to Clear Channel, which is a government monopoly on content, especially on radio, that attempts to dumb it down even further. So even if you don't violate the FCC's rules, you just said damn instead of fuck, so the FCC won't go after you. Clear Channel might kick you off anyway. So we've got so many problems with this sort of content. I mean, where's the First Amendment that Shapiro and all these other people are crowing about being violated by what Trump's saying? Where's the First Amendment? There is none. There is no First Amendment in swing in radio. There's no First Amendment in television. There's no First Amendment in newsprint. It's a handful of corporations that themselves don't technically have any right to free speech at all beyond the individual components, the human component that makes them up. They're the ones that make money lying to people. And they do it with the blessing of a government organization that will also fine you up the ass if you say the wrong word on the airwaves. Or if you say the wrong word on cable, if you allow it to slip in during the editing process and put it up there even though you know it's wrong, oh man, they'll kick you off very quickly. Wouldn't even matter if you are a Jimmy Kimmel at that point, you're still screwed. Bigger people have fallen before the FCC and Clear Channel and things like that. And the government instituted this. They did it, the idea was that the airwaves were kind of, they belonged to the people at large. And so you needed to have a licensing system because people wanted some degree of decency. Like, they didn't want a bunch of smut, basically, on when kids were watching TV. On regular cable. They didn't want it accessible to them. You can make the same fucking argument for the internet, though. It's just, it's foolish. Giving the FCC control of this didn't stop the problem, number one. Most of the content that's there is still fucked up. Only now it's instead of little Jimmy, beating off, little Jimmy's watching CNN tell him that war is great and it's a good idea to kill lots of people overseas and just trust the government, you dumb fuck, basically. Yeah, I think I'd rather little Jimmy listen to the former. I think it'll screw up his brain less. All these moral crusaders, they ruined radio, and so now you have to have Sirius. They ruined cable, so you have to have on-demand. They're ruining the old wave internet sites, which means alt-tech has to come into existence. There's a reason why I'm betting on alt-tech, because we've already seen this happen several times. Every time the government either partners with some private firm, this is more like Clear Channel than the FCC, what's happening on like Facebook or Twitter. The government is trying to partner with tech firms to dumb down content, to make it dumb, to make it unentertaining, unappealing, and stupid. Which means that other sites will have to come along in order to cater to stuff that is intelligent, thought-provoking, actually edgy, actually out there, expresses an opinion that's outside of the mainstream. Increasingly, alt-tech will be required for such things. You're gonna need, I'm strongly suggesting to any of you that create content, don't stick with old tech only. You can keep using it. Like, I'm not gonna stop using YouTube. I'm not gonna stop using Twitter. Facebook, I might stop using that because nobody fucking cares about Facebook anymore. It's dying in the most literal sense. I'd be surprised if Facebook exists in its current form in a couple of years, to tell the truth. But get a Minds account. Get a Gab account. Don't just use Twitter, use Gab. Don't just use Facebook, use Minds. Don't just use YouTube. You can try VidMe, BitChute. There are other alternatives out there. So people talking about PewTube. Never tried it. DTube, never tried it. I'm not into the Steam It sort of thing. I took a brief look at it. I like VidMe and BitChute better, honestly, myself. But make sure to use some alt-tech. Throw it in there. Minds.com is a great site. Gab is a great site. It has nothing to do with Nazis. Most of the people on there just being censored, half of them are probably libertarians. Some of them are hyper-religious. You have to be wary of the Jesus folks, I suppose. But yeah, the FCC already ruined everything. Trump's not stepping on anyone's toes. What First Amendment? The First Amendment that says that these networks have a right to censored speech on the airwaves. They're already being censored. The FCC exists. How is this a violation, expecting them to, inserting new language saying, oh, well, a certain proportion of news coverage to be called news and to be covered under your license has to actually be factual on an objective measure. How you would measure that, of course, is a different story. They can do that if they want to. They can run them through hoops and make them do literally anything they want them to do to maintain their license. FCC is empowered to do that. You created the monster. Tipper Gore did. The Democrats helped to create this monster. If Trump is using that for something you consider unacceptable, whoops, I guess you created a monster. And now it's come back to bite you in the ball sack. I don't have any pity for these morons whatsoever. Screw CNN. Let them go under. If they stopped existing, it would be a better world. That's about all. Peace out.